Well, you know, I'm going on another one here right about now. I seem to be in the mood for it. When I'm in the mood for it, like anything else, I just go for it. I'm going to tell you in my little story time book here, this is this book, Crazy, Stupid, and Weird Tales from Planet Earth. See the two guys, one's happy, one's sad. Tell you the truth, if this was a depiction of Earth, I think you'd have one guy that's sad and another guy that's sad. Most of the people I know are sad. Not what they show you, but underneath it. And that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to help some of you people get out from under all, endless problems, many of which you create for yourself, right between your own two ears. And that's part of the purpose of some of these stories, to learn lessons as you go, to free yourself from the confines of the constraints of life. Now that's pretty fancy talk for a Southern boy. But, I got that. I read that on a wall in a toilet one time. I got to be honest, and I memorized it. So, you never know when it's going to come in handy. I want to tell you now about when I went to school, and I hate to do it because I have to divulge my graduation year. But damn it, there's no way around it, I guess. It was 1972 at Glendale High School in the great city of Glendale, and something really weird happened with a guy. His name was, I'm going to use the name because I'm telling the truth, so why do I care if anybody wants to get mad at me? His name was Devon Wheeler. And the thing about Devon was this was our senior year, about 10 days before we were all going to graduate, 10 mere days. Now you talk about timing. He had a breakdown. Nobody knew he had a breakdown, but that's what it was. And he went around and, he was petting his wiener, so to speak. He was whacking his wee-wee with one of his hands. And this, this doesn't fly. So, and then in one of the gym classes, too, he was stroking himself there. And, of course, if you're in a gym class with a bunch of other boys, it becomes evident to the other boys that you're kind of interested in them, and all of a sudden, you really becoming a pariah. Because let me tell you, in 1972, homosexuality is not what it was today. Back in those days, it was really verboten. And I'm not saying that's right, I'm just saying that's the way it was. And so when he got tagged as being a homosexual by his actions there, he became the absolute pariah of the school. And I mean everybody in the school turned their back on him, dropped him flat. Hester Prynne, the Scarlet Letter, Napoleon first being exiled on Elba, escaping, and then they put him back a second time on St. Helena, which he didn't escape from. But he was exiled like Napoleon or Hester Prynne, if you know any literature, which you probably don't. But, so this went on for about 10 days until the end of the school year. It was just such a shame, because had this happened, a couple of weeks later, all of this would have been missed in school. It would have been during summer, and it would have been, 1,000 times better for him. You know what? That was just a big bolt of thunder. I think the Lord's looking down and he's approving. Did you hear it? I think the Lord's looking down and he's approving of all of what I'm saying here. So now I know I'm being backed by the Lord. And when you're backed by the Lord, in your hand is a sword. So let me get back to Devon. Of course, what actually happened to Devon was he had a psychotic breakdown, schizophrenia. Schizophrenia is something that has its onset usually in young adults from about 16 to 25, might be 30, but that's about it, right in there, young adults. He had his breakdown. He would have been, I guess, about 17. But of course, nobody knew that. They pegged him as this, this burgeoning homosexual. And so at the time that he needed his friends' help the most, of course, that's when they turned their backs on him and left him, in the gutter, ice cold. Why am I talking about this whole thing? What's the point? This is the point. When it comes to human beings, this is another example of human beings as they actually are, not how they should be. You see, I turned my back on them too, by the way. But at least I was only there for 11th and 12th grade. And this is the point I wanted to make. I came over from the Hoover side, which is another part of Glendale, and then, another place, but it doesn't matter. I was there in Glendale High for 11th and 12th grade, so I was kind of like a latecomer or an interloper, whatever. But all of these other people, they were lifers with Devon. I assume, it's an assumption, I'm not sure, but I think they all started in first grade together and they came up 1 through 12. So they were together with this guy for 12 years. They may have known him before that. And so all of these people that, went all through school with him, lived with him. I think he was on the track team. I'm not sure, but I think so. And he was a pretty popular guy. I mean, I think he was like tall and he had blonde hair. I think he was pretty popular. You don't know everybody in a school, but you probably know 200 or 300 or 400 of them, just to say you know them. I mean, I knew that many, and I was just there for 2 years. But, well, that's me. But in Devon's case, he knew a lot of people, and he came up through the ranks with them, and they turned their back on him flat. So did I. No excuse for me either. But that's what I wanted to say. There was only one guy out of that entire school that stuck by him, and that was a guy by the name of Larry Cornelius. I'd like to shake that guy's hand now, because he's the only one that had any guts, intestinal fortitude, and just playing balls, baby. So, all of these people, now, and this is what I wanted to say too, if somebody moved in like across the street for 2 weeks, and you knew them for 2 weeks, and then something happened, I can see that that's not a long time to have a history with somebody. But when you know them your entire life, starting at grade 1, maybe kindergarten, I mean, whatever, I don't know, nursery school, little tot school, whatever they call it, you coming up all the way through 12th grade, you live your whole life with these people. That's your little, branded circle. But it made no difference whatsoever. Boom! They turned their back on him and left him in the cold like he was a dog. And that's the thing that made I look at that and say is so sad but so true about people. People, there is no loyalty in them. When the situation warrants, they will turn their backs on you even if they've known you for, 12 or 13 years, their whole lives at that point. People are followers. They're not individual thinkers. They're followers like sheep, like dogs, like wolves. And I mean this sincerely. We are followers just like the braying sheep. And there's no individuality in 99% of the people. They just go along with the herd, whatever the big sheep or the big 5 sheep say. That's what all the other sheep do, because they wouldn't want to be on the wrong side.